the voice of Congresswoman Haley Stevens, the Democrat from Michigan, is with us here. Michigan's 11th and a candidate for U.S. Senate. Congresswoman, it's great to see you. Welcome back to Bloomberg TV and radio. Just for starters, because we haven't had a chance to compare notes with you in some time, this excursion, as the president describes it, is something you support?
No, it's a war that he started on his own. Michiganders don't want this. They're paying for it. We have 200 injured. It's hitting us at the gas pump. It's hitting us in our pocketbooks. And it's something that the president began without the consultation of the American people and certainly of Congress. So I voted for war powers, and I continue to stand with the Michiganders who want something much better than what they're getting from this administration right now.
Well, of course, the administration, while it didn't ask for authorization for these combat operations, Congresswoman, may still yet come to you and your colleagues with a supplemental funding request in order to keep paying for these operations. Now, I'm not sure whether, given what you just said, you would be supportive of a supplemental, but if the alternative Republicans could pursue is budget reconciliation, a package that could theoretically include far more than just funding for the war with Iran, is that potentially a worst-case scenario?
Well, I'll tell you who they're going to come to for funding. They're going to come to Michiganders who, $1 billion a day that is costing us. They're cutting food assistance, health care, education programs. We've dealt with reckless and chaotic tariffs that have threatened our manufacturing sector. Our economy has been rocked as a result of this. And now, those gas prices that are coming down on Michiganders who are just trying to get to their job, to pick up their kids from school, go to the store and get what they need to get, it's just another strangulation. It's not acceptable. It's not working for us. This is an overreach. There's no plan. There's no strategy. And I'm not going to go along with it.
Congresswoman, not mincing words today, as the average price for gasoline hits $3.86. It's almost $3.87 in the state of Michigan specifically, which, by the way, is slightly above the national average. Congresswoman, you sit on the China Select Committee, which steers our conversations pretty frequently when we talk here on Bloomberg. It's been suggested that China, if not Russia, but China, is the biggest winner from this action right now. Do you agree?
Well, we certainly see our allies going to our adversaries for energy. We've got this challenge with the Strait of Hormuz, as you've just mentioned, our own energy considerations now being challenged. And I want the world to see what we do in Michigan. That's where I'm always going to stand. We've got, the vice president bopping around my district today, going to a manufacturing shop. I've spent years, being with these manufacturers, advocating for them at the lawmaking table, and we've got to win the race against China from the place that I call home. But that race is not going to be won if we're pushing our allies into the arms of, the adversaries here, particularly on the energy costs and on trade. And so I've got a lot of concerns. I also have got plans. I've got bills that I've helped pass and bills to come on lessening our dependence on China for our supply chain, lowering costs, creating jobs. We've done that on chips. I want to do that for critical minerals. I want to secure our supply chain from the place that I'm so proud to call home. We're the best manufacturing economy in the world, and our state needs a champion. That's what I'm advocating for each and every single day here.
Well, you mentioned that the vice president is in your state of Michigan today. His remarks have concluded, but in part, he says, and this is a quote, "In November, it's going to be very simple. Do we support the people who made us hundreds and hundreds of dollars richer, or the people who made us hundreds and hundreds of dollars poorer?" Referencing in part this administration's efforts on taxes, as tax returns are larger, at least at this point on average, than they were prior to the big beautiful bill being passed. What do you say to a Michigander who does have more money coming into their wallet in that regard right now? Should they not be glad that that policy exists?
Look, I'm going to tell you something. This administration is one big grift. they're the ones getting rich. They're the ones profiting off of cuts to programs that, benefit so many Michiganders. To the fully paralyzed veteran who reached out to me last year asking if he was still going to get his benefit check because of Elon Musk prancing around a stage with a chainsaw. I just authored a bill called Stop Enrichment in the Congress. People here, we got to stop the stock trading in the House of Representatives, the Senate, and also in the executive office. And that's what my bill does. No sitting on corporate boards. Stop the grift here. And so we're all paying that price. I want to see tax fairness. It needs to go further for working Michiganders. They need more money in their pocketbook, not to continue to pay at a higher marginal rate than the corporations or in some cases the billionaires.
Congresswoman, you mentioned J.D. Vance. He is in your backyard today. Auburn Hills at a company called Engineering Design Services, which is involved in robotics, engineering, and design. This is something that the administration, this type of technology, has tried to harness, and it's something that you've been involved with as well, with your background in the auto sector going back to the Obama administration. I'm old enough to remember this. I wonder what your advice would be for J.D. Vance when he speaks to the workers at Engineering Design Services, what he should know about Auburn Hills today.
Yeah, well, look. The voice of our manufacturers and our manufacturing workers needs to be heard at the lawmaking table. We've got to ask in terms of what they're paying for erratic tariffs, what they have paid, what that's cost them, what policies need to come into place to secure our state and our workers to go and win the future. I've spent a ton of time in Auburn Hills visiting manufacturers from FEV to Borg Warner and on. People who were standing up during the COVID crisis to meet our supply chain disruptions and considerations, to make sure that Michiganders got masks and ventilators. There's so much incredible innovation going on in Auburn Hills, Michigan. And of course, what's going on with Canada? Is J.D. Vance going to say that we're going to open up that bridge, the Gordie Howe, that President Trump is shuddering? Because that impacts us, too. That impacts trade. We've got, in my congressional district, the second busiest airport in Michigan because of the freight that just goes on, between our trade partners. And yet those relationships have been diminished and impacted by some of these policies. So, yeah, listen to our manufacturers and then do something.
All right, Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us. Democratic Congresswoman Haley Stevens of Michigan, of course, also a Senate candidate.